Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a 100-mile review on the Brooks Hyperion Tempo. I've had this shoe about since March. I've ran not every run, but mostly tempo runs. I did do a marathon in this shoe. I don't think it's a good marathon shoe. My feet were definitely hurting afterwards, so it's just not enough cushion. To have. I mean, the cushion's pretty firm, so it does have a lot of good return for speed type of work, and so I think it's a good one for speed work, tempo work, maybe up to 10-mile run. Been doing some longer tempo runs, 7.6 miles. Definitely I feel pretty good with it. A good shoe, good return on it. You can see there's not a whole lot of wear on the shoe yet with this shoe here. Again, about 100 miles. When I bought the shoe, I bought it on eBay for about $75 or so, and it had about 15 miles on the shoe, so not a lot. It was basically brand new whenever I first bought it, and then I started using it a little bit more and more. I decided to use it during my marathon just to see how it felt. My Hokas had a tear in them, so I didn't want to wear those for 26 miles. So I wanted something a little bit newer, and so I didn't buy anything else until I bought my Pegasus. But definitely these Hyperions, they did the job. It definitely feel like it was a good racing shoe. I was able to feel like I was on my toes more, and definitely I just noticed afterwards my feet were sore. It might have been just sore because I went 26.2 miles. I mean, that could have been it, but definitely not as cushy as maybe like a Hoka Ona Clifton's that I had. Or maybe even the Pegasus, not as much cushion there too. So again, good return on this. I'm definitely excited to maybe see how far we can take this shoe, if we can do another 300 miles on this shoe or so. Since I don't use this shoe every day, so just usually maybe a couple times a week for a tempo run, and my speed work is whenever I use this shoe now. And then I use it for a 5K race. And again, a good 5K shoe, really light. The statistics on this shoe is about 7.3 ounces. That's for a men's 10. This is a men's 11 and a half, I believe. And so it might weigh a little bit more. I don't have a scale to kind of see how it is. Again, you've got a drop height of, heel height of 28 millimeters, and a toe height of 20 millimeters, which is a 8 millimeter drop from the heel down to the toe, and has that DNA flash foam. If you guys remember from my previous initial view back in March, I really liked it then. It was definitely brand new. Still liking it quite a bit too, so it's been a good shoe for me to have. And so if it was an everyday shoe, I probably would have already had more than 100 miles on it, probably close to 200 miles since it's been since March. But I've been kind of sharing my mileage with the Pegasus 37s compared to this shoe. So if you're considering buying this shoe, I would definitely highly recommend it. So far, a couple pros for this shoe. Again, it's lightweight. It does have this nice Achilles slip. And again, the foam after 100 miles is still pretty responsive, so doesn't feel like it's lost its spring. So we can kind of check out the spring in the shoe with that, and it's pretty breathable. I do like that. There's not a lot of it's a mesh type of material in the forefoot area and the top portion of the shoe, so a lot of breathability. Again, a lot of breathability with the shoe. And so running in the heat is great because it doesn't feel like, other shoes I feel like they just get soaked and you feel like you're just stepping in water because your shoe is so soaked with sweat. Compared to this shoe, it's the kind of sweat goes through, and a lot of breathability in this shoe here. And so let's take a look at the counter, and just to see, it is still pretty firm. I can't squeeze anything out there. So definitely, again, that's another positive with that. It's lightweight, and also the foam has continued to stay pretty firm after about 100 miles. And it might be a little over 100 miles. I haven't really counted, but definitely I know I've overseeded probably the 100 miles there. And so some cons with this shoe is that one thing I did notice is that you want to make sure you wear a high enough sock that goes past here. So if you use a low sock, yesterday I ran about 7.26 miles in this shoe, and it was slipping just a little bit from that. I did rub a blister on the back of my Achilles there too, so make sure that you wear a high enough sock that will go up, because this does go up high and it will rub a blister on it too, so just be careful with that. Other than that, I think it's a great shoe. A lot of flexibility, a lot of response to the shoe. I think great if you're going to run 5Ks, 10Ks, maybe even half marathons in this shoe. I think it'd be a great shoe. Marathons, maybe not, just because it doesn't have that nice, cushy feeling, responsive type of feeling that you may want. And you may want to try it with a marathon. Again, it's nice and light, so I think it would be okay with that. So let's definitely I'd like to do later on is do a at least maybe a 400 mile with this shoe. I'll start to maybe count the mileage with this shoe, so we'll count this as 100, and maybe I'll count yesterday's time as 7 miles, so we'll kind of see how maybe another 300 miles. Maybe I'll do a 200 mile vlog on this shoe too, just to see how it feels. I think that's always good to have these type of vlogs, just because spending a lot of money on a lot of shoes, I want to be able to use them as much as I can, and it's definitely good to know how far can we push this shoe without tearing up. I've got some shoes where I wore the toes out, my Hokas, it tears on the inseam there, and so we'll see how far this shoe goes and if there's any tearing. But so far there's not a whole lot of wear on the shoe, maybe a little bit on the outside where I pronate a little bit there. But that's pretty much it that I see so far. So the outsole has maintained pretty well with that. Again, this ends this review on this 100 mile review on the Brooks Hyperion Tempo. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, hit subscribe and ding that bell so you don't miss any other videos. And again, this channel does cover racing, common injuries, different exercises, and occasionally shoe reviews. So maybe in the future I'll do a little bit more shoe review type of things. So right now I'm just doing the 100 mile. Pretty soon we'll be doing the 100 mile review on the Pegasus 37. getting pretty close to that, maybe 60 miles or so that I've done of that. I've run a little bit more on that since I bought those back. I've had them about 3 weeks or so, so definitely ran quite a bit in those. And so we'll continue with that. So hope everyone keeps safe, keep running, and we'll see you next time.